So let us continue with our discussion on Tabu search. In last class we have discussed another search algorithm in heuristic search category, that was informed search, and that search was beam search. And then we have started another informed search technique which comes under meta heuristic technique, because it uses heuristic of heuristic, that kind of concept to carry out the search. Therefore, we have shown that it is a meta heuristic technique. In meta heuristic category, again we have classified meta heuristic techniques into different classes, like population based methods, probabilistic methods, neighborhood search techniques, and memory based techniques. So this Tabu search algorithm we have seen that is a neighborhood search technique as well as it's a memory based technique. Uh, Before continuing our discussion on Tabu search, let us first recall functioning of beam search. In beam search we have seen that it is used if search space is very large. For infinite kind of search space, this beam search is useful, and it was developed at Carnegie Mellon University, and that term beam search was coined by Raj Reddy in 1977. So basically it's a variation of breadth first search, but we know that in breadth first search, if the breadth of the search tree is large and depth is also infinite, in that particular case practically use of breadth first search will not be feasible. So modification over breadth first search is your beam search algorithm. What we do in beam search algorithm? In beam search, you define a beam width beta, and beta number of nodes are only expanded at the next level. So that's how it reduces the efforts, that is time and space. So therefore you need not have to remember all previously explored nodes, as well as you need not have to remember all the nodes at the current level. For example, suppose this is your starting node S, and suppose S is not a goal, G is a goal, we will trace execution of beam search algorithm. So what beam search algorithm will do? Beam search algorithm will work as a breadth first search. It will find out all the rules which can be applied on starting state S, and then it will explore this S. Suppose there are 5 rules which can be applied on S, so there will be 5 successors. Then since it's an informed search, all these 5 successors, they will have corresponding cost associated with them. Suppose these costs are 21, 30, 41, 19 and 32. Suppose beam width defined beta is equal to 3. So what beam search will do? Now beam search will select 3 nodes on priority basis at this level. Instead of all 5 nodes, it will only select 3 nodes. So all these 5 nodes will be on the priority queue. Out of that, 3 nodes will be selected based on their cost. So nodes selected will be this node 19. So we will name this node. This is suppose A, this is B, third node is C, fourth node is D, and fifth node is E. So what 3 nodes will be selected? D, A and B, right? So A, B and D will be selected for further expansion. So now next step is A will be explored completely. B will be explored fully as well as D will be explored fully. So all successors of A, suppose A has 3 successors, B has 2 successors and D has 4 successors. So at this level, what now beam search will do? Beta is equal to 3. So therefore, 3 nodes on priority basis will be selected for further expansion based on their heuristic cost. Every time, whenever all these nodes are explored, that time you are going to check whether the node that you are searching is found or not. If it is found, then algorithm terminates. In this way, beam search works. So we have analyzed this algorithm, beam search algorithm, and we have seen that it is linear in time as well as space. For both these parameters, algorithm is linear. What is time complexity of beam search? Tejas, Tejas Mahajan. Pooja, Purohit, Pooja, Pooja Khandelwal, Bhagyasri Taide. Just now Bhagyasri had joined. Bhagyasri, Akanksha, Akanksha Koli. Yes,
Order of beta m.
Order of BM.
correct. Time and space complexity in both parameters it is linear. So time and space complexity is beta, order of beta multiplied by m. What is beta out here?
Beam
Beam
width.
width.
Beam width.
Right, beta is your beam width. And what is m?
Level.
Level of tree where we found gold
Level of
node
tree.
function.
Right.
Gold node.
Space, particularly M defines the level at which goal node is found. Suppose goal is present at level 4. So value of M will be 4, and if beta is equal to 3, so in that particular case complexity will be of the order of 4 multiplied by 3, that is 12, right? So I think this beam search all of you have understood. If you have any doubt in beam search, you can ask right now. In beam search, do you have any doubt? Am I audible?
Yes.
So any question uh, or any concept that you have not understood in beam search?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So if beam search, there is no question on beam search, we will move further. After that, what we have done, we have discussed this Tabu search algorithm, which implements 3 types of memories, and we have seen that algorithm was proposed in 86 after beam search algorithm. It's a variation of local search algorithms that we have discussed earlier, but in other local search algorithms like variations of hill climbing search algorithm, we have seen that since local maxima or local optima is the problem with them, this tabu search tries to remove that problem, tries to overcome that local optima by implementing three types of memories: short-term memory, intermediate memory, and long-term memory. Okay. So we have seen this short-term memory is implemented by implementing a tabu list. So what is this tabu list? This tabu list stores recently visited nodes. Actually, meaning of tabu means forbidden. Okay. I have also told you that this taboo, actual meaning of this word taboo is the means the objects which you should not touch because these objects are scared. That is the original meaning. But in this taboo search, concept is same. What we are going to do, we are going to store nodes on this list in such a way that which are recently visited, so that algorithm will avoid cycles. Algorithm will not select these nodes which are in tabu list for further exploration. So recently visited nodes will be stored on this tabu list, and whenever you are going to proceed further, that time you are going to check whether the newly generated node is in the tabu list or not. If it's a if it's in tabu list, then you are not going to uh, explore that node for further uh, exploration purpose. So that is how short-term memory is implemented. Along with this, intermediate and long-term memories are implemented. Intermediate memory, as we have seen, that is implemented by intensification, and long-term memory is implemented by diversification, diversifying your search. So important uh, parameters associated with this tabu search algorithm are tabu list, then aspiration criteria, termination criteria, intensification, and diversification. Aspiration criteria is implemented by implementing short-term memory, that is tabu list, and then we have seen uh, that this aspiration criteria is very similar to the way that our human uh, search functions or decision making functions. What it does, uh, very simple example of that is, it will allow you a move even if it is in the tabu list. Sometimes we know that this particular approach works and your search will be able to give you the better solution or best known solution. Because as I told you that sometimes we get a feeling that all currently available options we explore, and whatever we feel attractive we select one of that or some of them. But later on we come to know that sometimes that the option that you felt initially which was not better, which is worst, that may be better afterwards. So for that purpose this is implemented. Even if some nodes are in the tabu list, algorithm will allow them. So this will result in a solution with objective value better than that of currently best known solutions. So that's we have discussed this in the last class. Uh, Variation of this type of criteria are available, like complicated aspiration criteria are proposed in the literature, and they are successfully implemented, but they are rarely used because not required. Always you don't need, and because of that unnecessarily we should not increase time and space complexity of the algorithm. Actually the key rule is that if cycling cannot occur, then taboos can be ignored. why this short-term memory is implemented? The main reason is to avoid cycles. So if algorithm goes into the cycles, so algorithm can be in infinite loop and will never return to the path where solution exists. So to avoid that, to avoid those cycles, as we know, we have used this tabu list, short-term memory is implemented. But always that's not the case. Sometimes you may find out later on, previously worse nodes can become better nodes. So algorithm allows you to select sometimes the moves which are in tabu. So in short, you just remember that algorithm will allow you a move which is in tabu list also. We will see when we will discuss this algorithm how this is implemented. Then we have seen how to terminate the algorithm. So there are various criteria. First criteria that we have seen, that if fixed number of iterations are completed or fixed amount of CPU time has been elapsed, you can terminate functioning of the given algorithm. You can return the current solution as a base solution. Then second criteria can be after number of iterations without improvement. If you encounter, that means you have been exploring and you are getting nodes having the same cost again and again. So that means further improvement is not possible. You terminate algorithm. Third way of terminating algorithm is when objective function will reach to the specified threshold value, you can terminate the algorithm. For example, if you are satisfied with the solution at any time, predefined level you might have defined. For example, in traveling salesman problem, suppose the tour uh, distance traveled by the salesman in a given tour, suppose that is 200, some value, fixed value, 200 or less than 200, then you should stop exploring further. That can be the case. So that can be the criteria. Okay. So these are the situations, criteria that can be used to terminate the algorithm. Then we have seen intensification, which implements intermediate memory. What is intensification? Intensification is, yes, that is related with which nodes you should explore. Intensification generally is used in all algorithms. Like generally you explore the nodes on the path which are most promising. Huh? The key idea behind intensification is that one should explore more thoroughly portion of the search space seem most promising in order to make sure that best solutions in these areas are indeed found. So nodes which are looking better, always we should go in that direction. Okay. From time to time, one should stop normal searching process to perform intensification phase. Now, this is called as intermediate term memory. This is also called as recency memory, in which you are going to record number of consecutive iterations that various solution components have been present. Okay. So in short, meaning of intensification is you should go on the path which looks more promising. That means you are going to look at the cost. So in most of the algorithms, same thing we do. But in addition to this, large or long-term memory is also implemented as opposed to that. Always that's not the case that whatever we feel better, that will lead to the solution. Sometimes that may not be the case. So therefore you need diversification. Okay. Otherwise your algorithm will be local. Always you will be moving in a direction that you feel that is good, but sometimes that may lead to the node or state which is not a solution. So negative consequence of this intensification is that you may reach to the path which ends up with non-optimal or suboptimal solution. So what diversification does? Diversification will try to explore or try to go through the previously unexplored areas of the search space. Previously unexplored areas of the search space. So for that purpose, frequency memory is implemented. So if you are going to implement this, suppose in programming language like Python, so you maintain a list which will store the frequency, that how many times you have visited that particular nodes, depending upon the cost you are going to count, because if cost is less, then there are more chances that you are going through the same path again and again. Okay, so this frequency memory can be used. So with the help of this frequency memory, you can find out nodes which you have not considered so far. Okay, frequency will tell you that which paths you are visiting quite often, and diversification is as opposed to that. Unlike intensification, what diversification will do? Diversification will try to visit previously unexplored areas of the search space. So if frequency is more, the algorithm will not consider those paths. Algorithm will find out the paths whose frequency is less. Okay, so that's why this frequency memory, if you are implementing this, will be useful. So now let us see how to put this in the form of algorithm. Up to this point, any question?
No, sir.
So if there is no question, uh, we will now uh, put all this, whatever we have discussed, all these concepts in the form of algorithm. This flowchart will show you functioning of Tabu search algorithm, which was proposed in 90s, but specifically this algorithm, this type of implementation that was proposed by Zhang in 2007. There are lot of possible variations are possible. So this is one of the way how Tabu search is implemented, because whatever we have discussed so far, that are general concepts, that how your search will proceed. It will incorporate tabu list so that cycles can be avoided. But how to implement tabu list, how to design a tabu list, that is up to you. Similarly, intermediate memory intensification, implementation of this intensification is also up to you. You can make it more complex depending upon the requirement. At the same time, diversification, as opposed to that, how diversification should be implemented, again, that is domain dependent, or how you understand the problem, based on that you have to implement that. So one possible variation of that is given in this particular flowchart. We will find out what it says. First step is, as usual, you have to generate initial solutions S. Okay, so you are going to start with starting solution, or we say that start node or starting solution. Suppose S0 is your starting state, so start with state S0. So here you are going to call that as S. Now assume that this S0 is a base solution initially. So uh, okay, base solution, and later on you are going to improve this solution further. Then initially you will have to clear the tabu list. So empty, we can say that empty tabu list T. What is T here? T is a tabu list. So initially tabu list will be empty. So what we have done, started with some starting solution S or S0, call that as a base solution, because over the period of time we are going to improve this solution, and then empty this tabu list. T is a tabu list. Then you are going to make a decision, is stopping criteria satisfied? Now there are two options here. Either criteria is satisfied or not. If criteria is satisfied, algorithm will terminate. What are the criteria? We have discussed those criteria. These are the termination criteria. So you are going to define one of the criteria when algorithm will terminate out of, for example, these are the three, but complex criteria can be designed. So one of this criteria you are going to define out here, and if criteria is satisfied, return the base solution, algorithm will terminate here, or initiate intensification or diversification. Okay, that's how you are going to improve the current solution, because you are calling this as a base solution. That means optimization type of problems you are going to solve with such algorithm. So either if you are satisfied, return the solution. If that is not the case, you initiate intensification and diversification for further exploration. But if criteria is not satisfied, then generate the neighbors. How to generate neighbors? Now you are at state S or S0. How to generate it neighbors?
Explore it.
Okay, exploring this H0. How to explore this in algorithm? How you are going to do that? If you are writing a program, then
By applying rule.
right. Suppose this S0 is, if it's a 8 puzzle problem, S0 is this state. Okay, and goal state is our as usual. Tiles are arranged in this sequence 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. This is goal state and this is starting state S. We are going to call that as S0. So what are the next states after, how many states will be there after S0? How many neighbors will be there?
2.
Correct. Two neighbors. This S0 will have two neighbors. Suppose these neighbors are S1 and S2. So S1 will be, either you can move this tile to here, right? And this square will be empty, and S2 will be, yes,
7 will be moved.
right.
7.
Move this 7 here. Other tiles they will be as it is, right? So therefore, with the help of rules, right, you can find out the neighbors. So generate neighbors, we know that how to do this. Then after generating these neighbors, check the admissibility. Now how to check admissibility? What is admissibility? Admissibility refers to
Check whether
For
you are reaching to the goal, or
with least
admissibility
cost.
least cost path. That means you have to find out the better node. Okay, so there will be cost associated with this node depending upon what heuristic functions you have used. So by using those values associated with the states, you are going to check admissibility. Now this admissibility will be based on now in this algorithm along with your cost, aspiration criteria and taboo restrictions. Okay. Aspiration criteria and taboo restrictions also you will have to check. For example, this is state S1 and this is state S2. Suppose this S1 has been visited previously, so it will be in taboo list. Okay. So if this is the case, then you are not going to select this state for further exploration. Or suppose this state S2, if it's in the taboo list, when S2 will be in taboo list, if that S2 has been visited previously. So if S2 has been recently visited, it will be in taboo list T. So in that particular case, you are not going to select state S2. So that is what taboo restrictions and expiration criteria already we have seen. So by using this, you are going to check the admissibility. You are going to select the node. So if it is admissible, update the admissibility conditions. Change the admissibility conditions. So this is also made dynamic. It is not static. If that is not the case, select best neighbor which is not belonging to T. So what is this? I am writing it again. Select best neighbor which is not belonging to taboo list T, right? You are not going to select a node which is in the taboo list to avoid cycles. So from the remaining nodes, you have to select the best. And after selecting the best neighbor, again you are going to update the taboo list. Why? Now what will happen after this? At this step, update taboo list. So what you are going to do?
Add the node which
Right.
we are visited.
Right. Correct. The best neighbor that you have selected, you will have to add this add best node to T. So that's how you are going to update this taboo list. And then you are going to repeat. Is the stopping criteria, terminating criteria satisfied? You are going to terminate or intensify, diversify. Now check out here, we have not specified how intensification will be done and diversification will be done. It is problem dependent. Based on the situation, you will have to define intensification phase and diversification phase. Otherwise, the general algorithm functioning is like this. If terminating criteria not satisfied, generate the neighbors by using the rules, check their admissibility. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. After selecting base neighbor, next step is you have to update the taboo list, add that base neighbor to the T, that is taboo list, and repeat this until you are satisfied with the solution. So what additions we have made, if you compare this algorithm with other algorithms, that we have incorporated intensification and diversification along with implementation of this short term memory, that is tabu list. Okay, so we have implemented here short term memory, intermediate memory, and long term memory. All these three memories have been implemented in implementation of this algorithm. Okay, now let us move further. Now we will put this in algorithmic form. Now some notations we are going to use. Suppose you are writing a program, then how to do that? We will define T as a tabu list. Same notation we have used in flowchart also. Then NS, that will define set of neighborhood solutions. Since it is used for solving optimization type of problems, therefore um, we are saying every node as a solution node. So NS is a function which will generate the neighborhood solutions. Okay, so NS will be defined based on operators or rules. Now S star is used for define best so far solution, current best solution, that means. And FS star will define value of this best so far or current best solution. So with these notations, let us now put it in algorithmic form. Initialize this tabu list. Initially it will be empty. Okay. So what is this phi? Empty list. So T is a tabu list. Initialize this T as an empty list. Initially S is your initial solution, S0. Assign this S to S star. What is S star? Base so far. Same thing we have done in flowchart. This is what initialization is. S is your initial solution. Assign that as a base so far solution, current base solution, and clear this tabu list. So that is equivalent to initialize this T with empty list. Then we have to repeat these steps. Okay, until some termination criteria is satisfied. Stopping criteria means what? Termination criteria that we have defined. Okay, so what we have to repeat? Find the best admissible solution S dash belonging to NS. What is this NS? NS is set of neighborhood solutions. How to right? How to generate a set of neighborhood solutions? So this NS is a set, right? Therefore, this NS is a set. How this set has to be generated? How you are going to generate this list or set NS in program?
By applying the operator on S. By applying rules.
Right. Rules means operators. We have to find out all applicable operators on state, uh, current base state, S. Now S is that state here. Apply all those operators on S, so that will generate set of successor nodes. Assign that to S dash. Okay. Now what we are doing here, find best admissible solution S dash belonging to NS. What is meaning of that? Finding out best admissible solution. How you are going to do that? Now NS already we have. NS is a set of successor solutions or set of solutions generated by successor nodes, right? So finding out best admissible solution. How you are going to do that in the algorithm?
List. By comparing their
By
cost. Considering the cost.
Correct. You are going to compare the cost of solutions, and out of that you are going to select the better path. That means the path having the least cost. Correct. Now come here. After finding out best admissible solution S dash, now what we are doing, f of S dash, if it is greater than f of S star. Now what is f of f dash? That means value of this S dash, that you are here assuming that it's a best admissible solution. So value of that solution, if it is greater than value of the previously known best solution. What is SS star? FS star. S star is current best solution so far. Till now, whatever best you are assuming. So value of that. So the new solution, its value, if it is greater than value of previously known best solution, what you have to do? That means new solution is better. We are saying value of a solution. That means if that value is greater, that means it's a good solution. We are not saying cost. Value of that solution, if it is a good, then its value will be more. So if this is the case, if that means S dash is better, what you are doing? Assign this S dash with S. This S dash you have assigned with S. This step. That means if the new solution is better than previously known solution, then make that as a new current based solution. Update it. Now your current based solution will be not S star, it will be S dash. So update tabu list. After that, next step is update tabu list. So what we are going to do here, you are going to put that recently visited nodes into the tabu list. These steps you are going to repeat until termination criteria, one of the terminating criteria has been satisfied. Okay. Understood working of the algorithm? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What we are doing here, initially there is an initialization phase. You are initializing tabu list as an empty list. Starting solution, you are assuming that as a current based solution. Okay, and then you are finding out the next all the neighbors. From that you are going to select the admissible one. Then you are going to check whether the solution that you are feeling that is good, is it really good? You are comparing that with previously known base solution. If it is better, then this new solution you are making that as a best solution so far. Then update the tabu list and repeat this until some stopping criteria is satisfied. So what you are going to repeat again, you are going to explore that node which you are feeling better right now, generate all its neighbors, then find out base admissible neighbor from that or solution, check that is better than previously known base solution. If no, then again go back. What you have to do, update the tabu list and find out another admissible solution from the list. Repeat this until you reach to the goal. That means one of the stopping criteria. Okay, so this is how this tabu search works. Now let us find out where this algorithm is used. As we have seen, it's a meta heuristic algorithm. It is used for solving combinatorial optimization problem. So in optimization problem, feature of optimization problem is every state is a solution there. So there are large number of solutions, and out of that you are interested in some feasible solution, acceptable solution, right? So therefore, if you try to find out a solution with your usual methods, comparing all solutions, then algorithm practically will not be useful, because it will take a large amount of time, in days sometimes, or even in hours, tens of hours, hundreds of hours, because factorial number of solutions are there. For example, just assume that in traveling salesman problem, TSP problem means traveling salesman problem, if n denotes number of cities, if n is equal to 20, how many possible solutions will be there? N is number of cities. N means what? Number of cities. So how many possible solutions are there? Now what is solution in TSP problem? Round trip made by a salesman. So every trip is a solution there. Okay. So how many possible solutions are there? How many trips are possible if number of cities are 20?
And -1.
No, only n minus 1.
20.
Yes, pardon.
20.
All round trips, all sequences. For example, if there are three cities A, B and C, uh, always they are connected. So one solution is A, B, C. Another solution is A, C, B. Again A, round trip salesman has to make. Another solution is B, yes.
C. C. A.
Start with city B. Uh,
A. A. C. B. B.
A, C, B. B, C,
B.
A,
A. B.
B. C, if C is your starting city, C, A.
A. B. C.
So in this way, how many possibilities are there? If you count this, 6. That means,
3 factorial.
right. If n is equal to 3 here, in this case n is equal to 3. So 3 factorial number of possible solutions are there. So if n is equal to 20, that means 20
20
factorial
factorial.
solutions will be there. Okay. What is 20 factorial? Very large number. Right? 20 factorial, you find out value of 20 factorial, it will be a very large number. So finding out all those solutions and comparing them, practically it is not feasible. So for solving such a problems are called as combinatorial problems. This is used, Tabu search algorithm is used. So these are various areas like resource planning, carpooling, telecommunications, VLSI design, financial analysis, scheduling, space planning, energy distribution, molecular engineering, logistic, vehicle routing, pattern classification, manufacturing, waste management, mineral exploration, biomedical analysis, environmental conservations and many more. You will find out lot of papers are there. People, they are using this Tabu search algorithm in various application areas. So all problems where the solution is a combinatorial solution, or problem is a combinatorial problem, optimization problem, where there are factorial number of solutions. You can try out this Tabu search algorithm. Okay. Any difficulty up to this?
No, sir.
So,
No, sir.
okay, we will summarize. It's a powerful algorithm applied with great success in many difficult combinatorial problems. On a particular attractive feature of this algorithm is, like all approaches based on local search, it can quite easily handle dirty, complicating constraints that are typically found in real life applications. That is scheduling type of application. For example, timetable, preparing timetable automatically. So it's a very complex problem. You can say that dirty constraints are there. So therefore, for solving such a problems, this algorithm can be used. So it's a really practical approach. There is no guarantee. If there is no guarantee of global optimal solutions, because of the fail heuristic, and insufficient understanding of fundamental concept method. Because of these reasons, some people, they have, you will find out some papers that algorithm is not returning the optimal solution, something like that. Such a results you will find out in the literature, but there is a reason why that has happened. The reason is failed TS heuristic. The intensification, diversification, tabulis, whatever these concepts are, if you implement them properly, then algorithm works nicely. That will give you the global optimal solution. But the papers which says that algorithm has returned the suboptimal solution, they have not implemented these concepts properly. So that is very important. So therefore, sufficient problem knowledge is absolutely required for correctly applying this Tabu search algorithm for the given application. Okay, ठीक है. If the search space and the neighborhood structure are inadequate, then also algorithm fails. So therefore, you have to make sure that the search space and neighborhood structure is adequate. And last, to be successful, that means to apply this algorithm successfully for the given application, all meta heuristics need to achieve both depth and breadth in their searching process. Depth is usually not a problem for this Tabu search, which is quite aggressive in terms of this particular depth. But breadth can be a crucial issue. To handle this breadth, it is extremely important to develop effective diversification scheme. So implementation of this diversification, how you implement it, that is very important to make this algorithm successful. And this intensification, diversification, you will have to implement based on the given problem domain. Therefore, we cannot specify that this is the uh, method by which you should implement diversification, because as the problem changes, diversification scheme will change. For example, in traveling salesman problem, what can be the diversification criteria? It's a very good question. Try to answer this question. In TSP problem, what can be the diversification criteria? Dimple Chaudhary, Dimple Chaudhary. Tisha Shinde, Pooja Sari.
Yes, sir.
What can be the diversification criteria for traveling salesman problem? What is diversification? Diversification is it is opposite of intensification. Intensification tells you that you should go in a direction that you feel that is attractive. Okay. Diversification is exactly opposite. Diversification says that you select the path which is right now not attractive. Chirmade, Karishma Chirmade. Harshal, Harshal, Harshal.
Yes, sir.
What can be diversification
Yes,
criteria
sir.
for traveling salesman?
Sir, it can be 20 factorial.
20 factorial is number
It
of
can
possible solutions. But if you are implementing, suppose tabu search algorithm for solving this TSP problem, and then you have to incorporate diversification scheme. So what can be diversification scheme in traveling salesman problem?
All nodes should be visited.
Then it will be a
Escape the
breadth-first
from
search. If you visit all nodes, then it
escape
will,
the
huh? Yes, escape. Pardon? Escape.
escape the form, sir.
Repeat. I could not hear properly.
Take the form, sir,
You
of
are
state.
not audible. Okay. I will tell you. Diversification. Now, what we are going to do in traveling salesman problem, always you are going to select a path which is attractive. Right? That's what most of the algorithm they do. Now, what is attractive path in TSP? That means the path having the least cost. Right? Better path means what? The path having the least cost. Or you are going to select a node which is nearer to the current node, current city. Okay, that is your intensification. But what diversification will do, you are going to select a city which is not nearer but which is further away from the current city. Sometimes you have to do that. That is what diversification is. Again, I am repeating. In traveling salesman problem, you have to make a trip, and when you are going to make a trip, you will be at a particular city and you have to find out what next city you should visit. So generally what we do, we select the city which is nearer. Okay, that is intensification. But in diversification, what do, sometimes, not always, sometimes you select a city which is far away from the current city. Okay, that is diversification. Understood? Now, why this will work? I will explain this with real life examples. For example, now lot of work is going on in Jalgaon city, right? Road work uh, on main roads, highways. Sometimes you will find out the way that you usually take, which is nearer, that may be the worst solution for you, because there might be a case that after some time you will find out that road is closed for that particular day when you are going for some destination. So although the currently you feel that it is nearer, but later on after visiting some place afterwards, for example, if you come to Dadawadi and you find out that out there it is closed and you have to take some other way which is a very long path. Okay, so in that particular case, initially you may get an impression that the current path which is better, your usual way, that has to be selected. But since later on we know that it will not lead to the goal, or, or it is not a feasible solution quickly, it is better that sometimes if you select the longer path, longer destination from the current node, current place, that may lead to the goal destination in less time. That is what diversification means. Okay, whatever short you feel currently may not be short afterwards. That is what diversification is. So this is problem dependent. Since this is traveling salesman problem, then distances are important. That's why this example, because otherwise if your problem is totally different, then some other scheme based on problem domain you will have to implement. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So this is what our unit number 3 is. So we will stop here for 5 minutes and then we will continue with our unit number 4, which is on randomized search algorithms. Okay, so we will take a break of 5 minutes now. Okay, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Now onwards, we will be discussing another type of search algorithms called as randomized search algorithms, which are also heuristic search algorithms. And this randomized search algorithms we are going to discuss in this unit 4. So we are going to start with one of the algorithm called as simulated annealing algorithm, and randomize, that name is given because these algorithms they use randomization somewhere in their functioning. All these are informed search algorithms. Now let us come back. Yes.
Sir, taboo search complexity.
Tabu search complexity is dependent upon the problem domain. That way it cannot be defined, because how you are going to implement diversification and intensification, that will decide complexity of tabu search algorithm, and that we do not specify in algorithm, right? Only what we say, you select the admissible node, put them in tabu list, then what will be the size of tabu list, that we have not defined, right? Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
That will be problem dependent again. Then how you are going to implement intensification, that also we have not, because that is problem dependent, that is not defined in the algorithm. Similarly diversification. So in general it cannot, you cannot define time complexity, but if there is a problem, for example traveling salesman problem, if you have implemented by using algorithm, and out there you specified implementation of tabu list, its size, as well as how you are going to perform intensification, how you are going to perform diversification. For that particular situation, you can define, for that particular algorithm, you can define its time and space complexity. So you will not find that is defined anywhere, because it is dependent on actual algorithm that you are going to implement. Understood?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है ना? If tabuli size is more, then more memory it will take. Similarly intensification, diversification, how you are going to implement those memory, that will decide how much space they will take. Similarly time, again that will be dependent on uh, how you are going to process intensification and diversification. So nobody will ask you what is complexity of tabu search algorithm, time or space complexity, unless and until all these details are given. So if details are given, then you can specify its complexity. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So now let us come to the meta heuristic techniques again. The algorithm that we are going to discuss, simulated annealing algorithm, it's again a meta heuristic algorithm like tabu search algorithm. But in addition to that, now we have seen meta heuristic algorithms are again classified, you can classify them into four classes. Sorry. One is population based methods. Uh, Second is probabilistic based methods. Third one is neighborhood search methods. Tabu search was a neighborhood technique because you are going to explore the neighbors. Uh, Therefore, you can say that it's a neighborhood search technique. And memory based methods because it implements memory. Now, this simulated annealing also, it's a neighborhood search technique because it generates the neighbors and they are used in the implementation. Similarly, it's a probabilistic technique. It uses probability in its functioning. So we can say that simulated annealing is a meta heuristic algorithm because it uses heuristic of heuristic uh, while in its implementation. Then it's a probabilistic technique, as well as it's a neighborhood search technique. So let us see how these things are implemented. To understand this, first let us understand uh, uh, what we have done in hill climbing search and its behavior. This simulated annealing actually it's a variation of hill climbing search that we have discussed. But what we are going to do out here, initially some downhill moves may be made. That is the difference. Initially some downhill moves may be made. Now that is what we do not do in hill climbing search. In hill climbing search, what we do, always we make uphill move. You have to climb the hill, right? So always you are going to move in a direction which is going up, right? You are not going to select path which is going down. So uphill moves you are going to make. But what we are going to do in simulated annealing, we are initially you are going to make some downhill moves. That was not the case in hill climbing search. And why we do that, now you will understand. The key idea here is enough exploration of whole space. So diversification. What is meaning of this? Enough exploration. That means to diversify your search. Sometimes you may find out that worst move that will not lead to the good solution, but that's not the case sometimes. Sometimes the move that right now you are feeling worst might be very best path to reach to the goal. So for that purpose, diversification is incorporated in some algorithms. So this is one of the algorithm in addition to tabu search algorithm. So initially you are going to make some downhill moves uh, to make it diversified, uh, so that the final solution is insensitive to the starting state, right? Why this is important? For that purpose, let us understand with this diagram. Suppose this is a hill that you are climbing, and suppose you are standing somewhere here. So what hill climbing search algorithm will return? What solution hill climbing search algorithm will return? Sneha, Bichre Sneha.
Yes, sir.
Suppose this is the starting point. Then what solution algorithm? Now hill climbing search algorithm should return the this climber should reach to the top of the hill. But if you are using hill climbing, what will be the solution? Where this person will go finally?
Local maxima.
Right.
Local.
Correct. Local maxima means somewhere either here or this place, right? And
Yes,
algorithm
sir.
will terminate there only. The algorithm will return that as a solution. Suppose this person is standing here. So what solution algorithm will return?
Maximization.
Correct. Person will reach to the top of the hill, right? If person starts from this side, then he or she will going to reach to the top. But if person starts from this side, then encounter he or she will encounter local maxima. So what we have to understand from this, solution depends upon the starting state. If your starting state is this, then you got local maxima. But if starting state is this one, then you get the solution, right? So we say that final solution is sensitive in hill climbing search to the starting state. Yes or no? Sneha, which way?
Yes, sir.
Am I right?
Yes, sir.
In hill climbing search, your starting point is important. If you select proper starting point, then you may lead to the goal. But if some other starting point is selected, there might be a case you will encounter to the suboptimal solution. You may not reach to the final solution. Okay, so we can say that in hill climbing search is sensitive to the starting state. So to solve this problem, what we have done in simulated annealing algorithm, initially allow some downhill moves. So always in hill climbing, you move to the uphill moves are made, right? So instead of doing that, sometimes initially you make allow some downhill moves also. So because of that, your algorithm will be insensitive to the starting state, insensitive. Now, this is one thing that we must understand before going to the algorithm. Second thing, now your problem may be a maximization problem or minimization problem. Hill climbing search is a maximization problem, right? What we do in hill climbing search, you try to maximize, you try to move in uphill direction. So we can say that it's a maximization problem. Come to this. It is a maximization problem. Can you give me example of maximization problem? Any example, real life example where you have to maximize? So what we do in hill climbing, we maximize the change in energy, delta E. Therefore, this I have shown it in this way. Arrow going up, delta E. So energy. On y-axis we have energy. So we move to the high energy state. That's what it means. So anybody can give me example of maximization problem? Real life example where we maximize. Your investment in market, suppose you are investing money in the market, that is the problem, and you are implementing it. You have to maximize your investment, right? Suppose you put 10,000 rupees in the market, then what will be your objective? Objective will be to maximize your investment. You should get more returns, right? So profit should be more, isn't it?
Yes.
Sir.
Out there profit is important, so more profit is expected, so you are going to maximize the profit, right? So it's a maximization problem. Now sometimes your problem may be a minimization problem. So in hill climbing search, we are assuming that a problem is maximization problem. Now another case, second diagram on the right hand side here, come out here. It's here this diagram is showing minimization problem. Problem is traveling salesman problem. What we minimize in traveling salesman problem?
Distance.
Correct. Distance traveled by the salesman or time. It may be time. So we want minimum distance trip or minimum duration trip. So it's a minimization problem. Okay. ठीक है. So when you are solving optimization problem, it can be a maximization problem or minimization problem. So keep in mind, if it's a maximization problem, you have to maximize. If it's a minimization problem, then you have to minimize. Okay. So if it's a maximization problem, which node you are going to select as the next promising node? Node having
Least cost.
higher cost. Correct. If it's a minimization problem, then you are going to select a node having
Least cost.
least cost, minimum cost. Barabar. So now let us find out what this simulated annealing algorithm is. It's a computational process which is derived from physical annealing process. What is physical annealing process, that we will see first. So what we are saying here, it's a computational process. We have implemented an algorithm based on physical process of annealing. Now physical process of annealing most of us knew. What annealing process does, annealing process heat the metal at very high temperature, and then that metal is allowed to cool down with a certain cooling schedule. Okay, and because of that, if you do this in proper schedule, proper way, then you are going to uh, properly crystalline that particular metal in the required form. So in annealing, physical annealing, metals are melted. That means you heat it with a high temperature. So you can say that that is raised to high energy level, and then gradually that metal is cooled until some solid state is reached. So that forms a crystalline structure. So if you want that crystalline structure in the required proper form, then that cooling and heating should be done with proper way. So what we do in the physical annealing process, you heat the metal, melt it, then give it a proper form and allow it to cool down until some state is reached or solid state is reached. So heating that metal, you can visualize that as that metal is raised to the high energy levels, and cool, allowing it to cool down, that is equivalent to, in physical process, converting that high energy level to minimal energy final state. So when it is heated, energy levels will be high, and always we know the tendency of a physical objects, that they move from high energy state to the low energy state. Okay, uh, so that particular concept has been used in this simulated annealing algorithm, and most of you might have observed this. Have you seen Iron Smith preparing eggs? Anybody has watched Iron Smith?
Yes.
What Iron Smith does, let us recall that. Iron Smith heats that iron rod or something, some object, heat it at very high temperature, bhatti they use for that purpose, or nowadays they use that electric blower for that purpose. But still, many of the iron smiths, they are using bhatti. So that metal iron piece is heated at very high temperature, then they heat it, they give a proper shape. Once it is melted, that becomes loose, soft, and they give a proper shape to that metal piece, and then they allow it to cool down. So if that complete process is done properly, then the axe made by the iron smith will be of the good quality. Otherwise, what will happen? if that schedule is not maintained properly, because that metal properties there has to be considered, what happens if it is not done properly? Your axe will break, it becomes very hard, and because of that it breaks, or opposite of that, it may be very soft. So if you try to cut very hard wood with that, then it will become blunt. ठीक है? I am talking about the axe. Axe, most of you have seen this. ठीक है ना? So while preparing this part has to be made very carefully. So it should not be too hard, it should not be too smooth. On what factors that depends? How this annealing is done by the ironsmith. Okay. So that schedule has to be maintained. Schedule has to be maintained means how that metal should be cooled. But you might have observed that those ironsmiths, they put that iron piece in water, and again they heat it. Okay, right? And they make it soft. Again, proper shape is given, and again they put it in water. So putting that in water, that is the schedule, cooling schedule that they follow. But if they miss somewhere the process of this uh, heating and cooling down, then sometimes you find out your axe breaks. When you are cutting wood, then it breaks. It should not break like that. Why that has happened? Because of improper annealing schedule. If it is, it should not be therefore too hard, it should not be too soft. If it is soft, what will happen? You will not be able to cut hardwood with the help of that axe. ठीक है, understood up to this point what is annealing?
Yes, sir.
Now what people they have done, they have understood this physical phenomena and tried to use that in search algorithm, and that search is called as simulated annealing search algorithm. Now what we have to understand from this annealing process, that physical substances that usually move from high energy configuration to low energy configuration. That means if you heat a metal or something, you will find out automatically after some time the temperature will be less, and that is applicable everywhere in all physical phenomena. Anybody can give some other example? Physical substances, they have usually tendency of moving from high energy configuration to low energy one. Any other example?
If we take hot water in the glass, then it will be cool after some time.
Correct. Right. Any other example other than this? Now cyclone. Cyclone, that is a high energy state, but after some time you find out what happens. That cyclone move from high pressure area to the low pressure area, right?
Yes.
That is the usual phenomena. You will find out that cyclone takes a particular path. It keep on moving in low energy, low pressure zone. Low pressure zone means low energy, right? So that is applicable for all physical phenomena. Correct. So now we are going to use this in implementation of search algorithm. But there is some probability that a transition to high energy state will occur. Always there is a tendency to move from high energy state to the low energy state, but a low probability is there, small probability is there that there is a transition to go to the high energy state also. This probability is given by this equation. We'll say what this equation is. Probability P is equal to e raised to minus delta E by T, where delta E is positive energy, positive change in energy. Delta is there, that means it's a change in energy. So delta E is positive change in energy and T is temperature.
Temperature.
Right, T is temperature and delta E is change in energy. Now E 2.71, right, constant. So exponential E raised to minus delta E by T. That is the probability that this transition occurs. That physical substance that move from high energy state to high energy state. Generally, it moves from high energy state to low energy state. But there is a probability that physical substance will move from high energy state to the another high energy state. Unusual phenomena, but that happens with this probability. Now, what is this? We have to understand this equation carefully. Probability of large uphill move is lower than small one. What is meaning of this? If you understand this equation, you will find out. If you come to the algorithm, hill climbing type of algorithm, probability of large uphill move is lower than small one. So generally what we do in hill climbing search, we move in up direction. So generally we move with higher probability in up direction. But out here this phenomena tells us that probability of large uphill move means something like this. Small uphill move means something like this. If there is a second option like this. So this probability of moving in large uphill move, in general we are going to make this move, but here that is not the case. We are going to make such a move. So that's why we are saying probability of making large uphill move is lower than small one. Also the probability that uphill move will be made decreases as temperature decreases. Very important to understand this concept. The probability that uphill move will be made, that should increase. But as temperature decreases, that means after some time t, temperature will be decreasing, because initially it will be at a high energy state. So as temperature decreases, this probability of making uphill move will decrease. So downhill moves are permitted. Again I am repeating this. Probability of large uphill move is lower than small one. Also the delta E is your change in energy. Let me clear this. What is delta E? Delta E is change in energy. That means if T1 is your current temperature and T2 is the temperature at the next state, so T1 minus T2 is your delta E. So if T2 is higher, then this equation we will make it delta E is equal to T2 minus T1. Actually, this is the equation. Now, when this delta E is positive, if T2 is high, temperature at time, this is suppose temperature at time T2 and this is temperature at time T1. So, temperature at time T2, if it is high than temperature at time T1, then delta E will be positive. And if T1 is high, then T2, that means cooling down. So this equation delta E will be negative in that case. Are you getting? Yes. Are you getting this? What is delta E? Delta E is change in temperature, change in energy. Temperature means change in energy specifically, change in energy. So what is this? Energy at time T2 minus energy at time T1. ठीक है. So if T2 is high, then delta E will be positive. If T1 is high, then delta E will be negative. So if delta E is positive, but here there is a negative sign. If delta E is positive, then this will become minus delta E. But if delta E is negative, 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 positive. Okay. So if delta E is negative, then this term will become positive. So E raised to some positive term. So that value will be higher. So probability will be higher. Again I am repeating. If delta E is high and if it is positive, delta E is high and if it is positive, then this term will become negative because minus sign is there, right? Since this is negative, so E raised to this term, this will become 1 by, this equation is equivalent to 1 upon E raised to delta E by T. Then I can rewrite this in this equation, in this form. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Minus delta E by T is there, no? So same thing I can write that as 1 upon E raised to minus delta, sorry, E raised to 1 upon E raised to delta E by T. So if delta E is positive, probability will be less. Understood? If
Yes.
delta E is positive,
Yes.
then delta probability will be less because this is 1 by this, na? This is positive, denominator will be higher, so the probability will be less. If this is the case, then probability will be less. If delta E is decreasing, negative, in that particular case this term will become positive, and if this term is positive, then probability will be higher.
Hi.
Okay, same thing, high, correct. So same thing we have written here. If this is the case, the probability of large uphill move is lower than the smaller one because of this, and also the probability that uphill move will decrease as temperature decreases. Okay, because T is at the denominator. So because of this, the equation is made in this way. This is a very famous equation in physical processes, and same concept has been used for finding out probability. Now why we are discussing this? We are going to use this probability whether you should select the next state or not. That equation you are going to use for defining the probability. Okay. Any question up to this now? Then latter part we will discuss in the next class. This is the basic concept, and then we will see how the algorithm works. Basic concept used in simulated annealing algorithm is physical annealing process, and we know the physical annealing process. Metals are melted and then they are cooled down with certain schedule, and then with that phenomena you are going to define a probability. This probability you are going to make make use of that probability while selecting whether you should select whether how you should select the next state from the given neighborhood state. So there out there we are going to use this parameter P. So at home you try to understand what we have discussed so far. We will stop here today and we will continue discussion of this simulated annealing algorithm from unit 4 in our next lecture next week. Before that, now study thoroughly unit 1, 2 and 3. We will have our first internal test on these first 3 units. Unit 1, that is on basic what artificial intelligence is. Unit 2, unit 2 is on blind search techniques and what is state space representation, what are different AI problems, and unit 3, that is on what is heuristic function, what are heuristic search algorithms. Then we have discussed depth first search, blind search, sorry, heuristic search techniques, hill climbing search, variation of hill climbing search, and then the best first search technique. Along with that, we have discussed beam search and tabu search algorithm. In blind search techniques in unit 2, we have discussed along with state space search representation, blind search techniques like BFS, DFS and DFID. So all these lectures, almost all these lectures I have put on YouTube channel. So you go through them if you have any difficulties. Presentations also I have put on Google Classroom except the last lecture that I will do today. Any question on this? For first test our syllabus will be this three unit, first unit, second unit and third unit. Now for this 3 units I want to tell you from where you should study. Unit number 1, what is AI, that you can study first part from Rich and Knight's book, AI by Rich and Knight. Then last part of this unit 1, that is agent, that you study from Russell and Norwick's book, IMA book, Artificial Intelligence and IMA, Modern Approach. Then second unit you study from Rich and Knight as well as Patterson's book. Patterson's book title is Artificial Intelligence and Expert System Design. Patterson, AI and Expert System Design. Then third unit, first part of your third unit you can study from Patterson's book, and remaining part tabu search and beam search you will not get anywhere except Khemani's book, Artificial Intelligence by Khemani, Professor Khemani from IIT Kharagpur. So these two algorithms, these are newer algorithms which are practically used. So you will find out research papers or Khemani's book, these algorithms are discussed. But my lectures that you will find out, they are complete enough, sufficient enough from examination point of view. I don't think that you need to read extra. But anyhow, if you want to read more, if you have to understand concepts at better depth, you should refer those books. But if you don't have books, lectures are sufficient enough. You go through these lectures and go through the presentations. Any feedback, any difficulty, any doubt?
No, sir.
सर पॅटर्न कसा असेल?
Pattern that I will let you know in next week.
Okay, sir.
So don't worry about the pattern. You understand concept. You understand. Always keep in mind everything. You have to write programs for this. So if you have to write a program, how you are going to implement this? Now for implementing this in a programming language, you must understand basic concept, basic functioning of algorithm. So you understand basic functioning so that you can write programs. That is important. If you do that, you will be able to write examination in any format. Don't worry about the format. If you understand basic concepts, you will be able to write answers. So we will discuss and I will let you know in the next week. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.